Hello everyone, Kristina Werner here. Welcome to another video for SimonsStamp.com. Today I'm going to be using 3 products from Simon. The first one is this background stamp, and it is called Gothic Halloween. I'm going to use that to create kind of a tone-on-tone black background. Then there's Layered Spooky Icon Stencil. I'll be using just the spider from that stencil. And then I'm going to be using the Circle Sayings stamp set and the coordinating die. Starting out with that cling stamp, so I'm removing the foam pad in my MISTI stamp positioning tool. And then I've got some Hero Arts pitch black cardstock that's cut to 6x6. I'm not going to be using the full sheet, but I thought, you know what, why not stamp the entire thing and I can save it for a future project. I've adhered I've stuck on the cling stamp to the door of my MISTI. And then I prepped my black cardstock with an anti-static powder tool. That was the COTTONTAIL from Rabbit Hole Designs. I'm going to be stamping in Versamark ink so that I can do some clear embossing powder on top. I'm going to walk my fingertips over each area of this stamp, giving light pressure so that it really presses down onto my cardstock. And then can remove the cardstock from my MISTI, and I'm going to be applying ICICLE embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. Sprinkling that on and making sure I cover all areas of the background. And then I can just tap off the excess so it's just left with the areas with the words. I'm using a heat tool to heat set this embossing powder. And it's really easy to know when the embossing powder is melted when you're using clear embossing powder because it turns clear. So as soon as you see it turn clear, you can move that heat tool away. So like I said, I'm not going to be using this entire background, but I will use a pretty good section of it. To clean off any of that excess powder tool, the anti-static powder tool, I just used a paper towel to gently buff that off. I've now got some smoke cardstock from Simon in my MISTI, and I'm stamping one of the greetings from Circle Sayings. I'm using the same Versamark ink that I used before, and I'm going to be applying a different color of embossing powder this time. I wanted to have a silver on silver look, so I'm using a sterling embossing powder. You could also just use that same clear powder again, and that would be great. Tapping off the excess and then heat setting that with my heat tool. And I'll just heat that until all of the powder is melted. I'm using the circle die that comes with, or rather you can buy with the stamp set. It cuts it out perfectly. And now I'm going to work on the background for my card. I have some Canson XL watercolor paper taped to a board, and I'm using the watercolor confetti set from Prima. So this background is really sort of chaotic, but I'm only using one color. I'm using the black shade, and I'm first putting down this sort of really messy cloud-like painting, and I'm focusing in the bottom right corner. I'm going to keep that top left corner completely free of any watercolor because that's where I plan to put a spider. So I'm adding on all of this black down here on this is a second layer. I'm intensifying that black shade, and I'm kind of spreading out the color at the top a little bit and making sure I add some interesting spots with water. I'm going to hit that with my heat tool to speed up the drying process. And then I put some of that black paint on the edge of an acrylic block and flicked the paint off using a paintbrush to get some nice paint splatter onto my project. I like to use an acrylic block like this because it really directs where that paint splatter is going to go, and I find that it's a lot less messy. All right, so here I am using the spider sheet of these stencils. There's actually 4 stencils in the set, but I just wanted the one spider. If you have a spider stamp, you could definitely do that as well. I used some masking tape or some Post-it tape to block off the other images around the spider. And then I just used a very small blending tool and some intense black ink from Simon just to get that spider on there. I'm going to cut out the watercolor background using the A2 layers dies from Waffle Flower. And I'm using one that will cut a slightly smaller size than an A2 card. Cut that out, and I've also cut out some glitter paper for some little colorful accents. I'm using the T-square ruler from Simon to add a black line for my spider. So it looks like he's descending on his little string of a spider web, and so he's hanging there right in that corner. I've taken that background, I've cut it down quite a bit, and I put some foam adhesive on the back, and I'm adhering that on the right-hand side of the card. And then I added some liquid glue to the back of this strip of glitter paper, and I have adhered it directly on top. I put a little bit of glue right next to it, and I'm adhering this very, very thin strip of green glitter paper as well. I'll use my tweezers just to position that right over that line of glue so it's nestled in there next to the purple. I then put some foam adhesive on the back of my grating, and then put that directly over that center area. The last thing to do was to adhere everything to a card front. So I used some Tombow Extreme adhesive, and I put it on the edges and in the center a little bit, and then adhered that directly to the front of an A2 card. This card base was made out of some Neenah Classic Crest 110-pound Solar White cardstock. And that's the card for today. Super easy and simple. I've had this card idea in my head for quite some time, and I wanted to share it with all of you. Make sure you check the supplies out down below in the video description. Everything's linked, and we'll take you right over to Simon for some shopping. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in another video very soon.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at SimonsSaysStamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.